wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Solitos tuo, usuncarum, ungularum, delectatque contremescit me. Intra, intro.
Believe me when I tell you
that I'm gonna come all over your butt. Okay, Elmers, we are back with another episode of 13th Elm. I'm here with Bill. I'm here with Rob.
What's up, everybody?
Hey yo.
Hey yo. We're getting into this movie right away. We're burning daylight. We're talking about Invasion of Astro-Monster, 1965, Ishihiro Honda kaiju film. If you know what that means, good for you. If you don't, big fucking monsters. We're talking Godzilla. We're talking Shoya, Rodan, King Ghidorah.
Mothra.
Yes. So this is the sixth film in the Godzilla series. It's got Akira Takarada, Nick Adams, Kumi Mizuno, and a couple other notable names, but those are the big three. Yeah, so let's go ahead and...
Who's in the Godzilla suit?
Oh, who plays the man in the suit?
Yeah.
That is, of course, Haru Nakajima.
He's a ham. I love him.
People...
I did not know these movies. This is the first Godzilla movie aside from the 2000s Matthew Broderick one that I saw because I was a kid.
I think that's the same to me.
Yeah,
for me
probably.
as well.
Same
No
era.
shit.
And
Yeah.
no shit. And I love that movie for nostalgia, but it's a shitty movie. But this is the first OG one, and I didn't realize that he's such a ham. He's funny. He's great.
Okay, so this Godzilla, and by that I mean Haru Nakajima, plays Godzilla in the first, I want to say 14 Godzilla movies.
Out of what, 36?
There's 36. 3 of them are
So
animated.
half.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of the ones where a man is actually in a suit, he plays Godzilla.
It's impressive.
So this is, like I said, the sixth Godzilla, and we'll get to it, but it is notable for many reasons. One of them being that it's an American co-production, and they shoehorned in an American actor to appeal to broader audiences. A couple other ones is that it's a sci-fi film, and it's also the first time where Godzilla is portrayed 100% as a protagonist, a good character, instead of just kind of a reluctant hero. And obviously early on is straight up nemesis, a villain.
Yeah.
But another big part of this movie and why it's endeared itself for generations to the fans is how much of a this is out of character for even a lot of the Godzilla
I didn't
movies.
know. Yeah.
They call it the happy dance. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
no, I
right?
saw that shit where he's bouncing on a trampoline out of frame, and he's putting his arms up and making noises. It's got to be based off of an anime or something, right?
It is absolutely based off of an anime. It's based off the manga Osu Matsukun called The Victory Dance, and it was very popular in culture at that time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make a note
Make a note.
right here.
Bill's note. Get ready, people.
That was it.
Oh.
You just made it way too long. Just to put in a picture of where this dance came from, because it's crazy looking. I don't know if either of you looked it up, the animation and
No.
the manga that it's from.
You got
We'll look at a picture later.
Got a gif
I'll-
of it?
Right now, no.
Oh.
But I'll put it up. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see that
Gonna
shit.
see this shit.
If you're watching on Spotify, you're not going to see that shit. But Google it. All right.
Quick count. I did real quick. Haru Nakajima did 13 versions of Godzilla. But yeah, I mean, this is also the time wherein all of these Toho and Honda Godzilla movies are featuring these elaborate miniature sets, and the monsters are all in costume. You got Masaki Shinohara playing Rodan and Shoichi Hirose playing King Ghidorah, which is, I don't know. This is probably my favorite era, the classic era of Godzilla, just because I think it looks really cool and good. And I will, spoiler alert, since you guys haven't been as versed, this is probably my least favorite of these early Godzilla movies, and a lot of that is because some of their budget was cut out from them because of disputes between the American production and Japanese production companies. So a lot of the shots are actually reused. They cut out a decent part of what they had intended to do as far as the fight sequences and stuff. And while yes, typically these Godzilla movies, especially from this era, don't reveal the monsters until later, and the fight scenes are usually the last 20 minutes, like, it's usually about twice as long as this. So they're very limited, but still, this movie was, I don't think I'm underselling it or even overstating it when I say batshit crazy. Like, I think that's spot on the nose. This was an insane movie, right?
I was going to say I didn't know what I was expecting, but what I was expecting was just Godzilla just walking over buildings for like 90 minutes and getting destroyed at the end, because I just kind of assumed that that's what they all were. So yeah, I did not see most of the shit coming. It was absolutely insane in like the best way. And like you said, this is one of your least favorite. Is it because the other ones are like even crazier and funnier, or because the other ones are like better, like production and like longer and more lore and like that kind of
What
shit?
I would say is that the first like 6 actually are all probably in the top 10 to 15. So like, even though I say it's like my least favorite of these, it's like this particular era is really strong. Immediately following this, you get like Ebra of the Deep or Horror of the Deep, and then like Son of Godzilla, and those aren't great. But these first 6 are really good. So even though I'm like kind of dismissing it a little bit, I still really like it. But
Are
like,
any of them fun? Are they funny?
this is the funniest, by far. But like Mothra versus Godzilla is like really good, and like Godzilla Raids Again is like a solid sequel. But Gojira is like a great film. Like, I highly would recommend it to anybody, and it is the least Godzilla of all the Godzilla movies. It is a really good political
Is that the one with
commentary.
the really tall shirtless guy on the cover?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, so this movie, I think part of the reason why I was struggling with it a little bit was I was like, fuck, I think Rob and Bill are gonna really hate this movie. And that's why I sent out a little text to you guys just to get you in the right state of mind going into it. Because I was like, you guys don't sit down and like expect fucking Casablanca, because
We
this
never,
is-
we never do.
I mean,
Right.
first,
I don't.
I mean, first of all, you didn't have to tell me to get stoned to watch a Godzilla movie from the 60s. You know, that was a given, but I definitely see why. I mean, I was laughing out loud for probably 40% of this movie. I mean,
It's fun.
the bad dub over accents and like even and like there's so much mispronouncing of like the Japanese names and stuff, which is like obviously they didn't give a shit about
They're
that.
not
But
even, like,
even
consistent
that
with
like
it.
was funny. No, like sometimes Tetsuo is Tetsuo and sometimes he's
Tetsui.
Tetsui.
Yeah.
There's also like the camera shakes at some points, like towards the middle of it. It's just moving back and forth.
And of course,
like,
it's sci-fi from the 60s, so there's seeing the strings that are
Yeah,
holding
holding the
everything,
spaceship and
and like the
everything, yeah.
models and stuff, which is so fucking good and so funny. And the way, I don't know how linear we're trying to go with this, but I think the first time that I like laughed hard was when Godzilla and
Rodan?
were
Extracted?
lifted
Yeah, in the
those
bubbles.
bubbles,
it was pretty
those
great.
force fields.
Yeah.
All of the like science in the science fiction, like the bubbles, the pill that cures all diseases that turns out to be like kind of a red herring.
Just a hard drive.
You go
And-
470 light years in 12 hours.
Yeah, it's them like just like living on Jupiter, and like also like
Behind Jupiter in the dark.
just them also like just being like bipedal and having guns and like having marriage and like all this other just like, oh man, it's just so it I know it was made in the 60s, but it feels like a very 50s sci-fi, like the way that they're the alien X, like Planet X people are structured and stuff, and it's just it's a lot of fun. I love the miniatures. Like I love
that
that
stuff is
shit,
fun.
dude. Even the reused shots.
So that's why I kind of like this one a little
Yeah.
bit less, because like I really, as you can call them campy or dated or whatever you want, but like like Mothra versus Godzilla has so many cool shots of like whole scenes that they create in miniatures, and like a lot of Godzilla destruction, which is like
Okay.
so cool to see. Is like, to me, I would rather see that than super high polished, super high budget, like modern day CGI, like Marvel studio type of shit. It's just like, I know it sounds crazy, but it's like, it looks more real to me. Like it communicates as more real. And I think about the audience in like 1965, like this has to be mind blowing. Like literally there are some things here where I'm thinking like, oh, they land on planet X, and then like the elevator comes off that spaceship and they're going down, and you can see clearly that they're like GI Joes on like
Yeah.
a little bit of action, but like also our mind's eye is so much more acute to that type of shit now, and like
Yeah,
just being
you're trained to it.
being
yeah.
fooled in 1965 and seeing this, like honestly, how fucking sick would this have been if you were like an 11-year-old Japanese boy or American boy, whatever, it doesn't matter, and you get to see this shit for the first time, like on the big screen. Like, you know, there's very few instances of like special effects and miniatures and stuff like that. Like we're talking like Jason and the Argonauts, Ray Harryhausen type of shit, but
Star Wars.
not. This is fucking 7
Yeah, I
years
guess
before
it's
Star
7
Wars.
years. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
65.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. That's nuts to me.
It is, and like, and you know what the most impressive shots to me are all the stuff with like water washing things away, and also wind blowing, like with Rodon like beating its wings and stuff. Like those shots are not only fun, but like they're just like visually impressive, and like the fact that they were able to do that and how much money they spent, and again, just the guys in suits, like they're guys in suits, like the suits look good, but you can tell,
suits?
but you can tell that like. Okay, so the King Ghidorah one looks good. Like when they have close-ups of it, like the scales and everything, like it looks good. Like you can see the wires on the heads and like, you know, all that shit. But they're like well produced. It's not like you're seeing like zippers and stuff.
And we're also
No.
like seeing this in a restored version. Like I don't know how obvious those wires would have been in like super low resolution
That's true,
1965.
yeah.
Also,
Impossible.
Star Wars came out in 77, so it's 12 years before.
12 years.
It's just when you said suits, I immediately thought you were talking about what the people.
The
thought
Xeons.
in
Those were also great with like the almost like what is it? Where you put dogs in after they get surgery, like the cone of shame. Like they've got those like around their heads
Yeah.
and shit.
and the eyeglasses that
Yeah.
are kind of like the X-ray glasses from X-Men, from what that fucking dude wears, but it looks like it's just
Cyclops.
Scott
empty.
Summers.
Yeah, or
Yeah, but it's
Star-
empty.
Yeah, it's
which was
but there's
tripping me out because like,
nothing there.
it took me a while to realize that, but like every time they blink, I'd be like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then I got a close up, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, they're like sunglasses with the lens taken out."
Did you guys? Okay, I love gold crystals because that's how gold works. In that
Yeah.
weird garden they have, and the fact that like did the Japanese army wear Mickey Mouse gloves? For like, was that a thing? Like, why was everyone wearing white gloves? What was that about?
I don't remember the white gloves.
This movie
to be
is
honest.
fucking insane, dude. Like, I don't know how much of it you can try to rationalize, but like, it's a lot of fun.
I did like that he was just like he invented like what was a security alarm that happened to be the frequency that repels
I don't
aliens.
think. I don't
What-
think
what
he
was- what
necessarily
was it?
knew what it was. I think it was just a machine that operated at a certain frequency,
Yeah.
and because I feel like there was even a time that the girl was like, "What is this going to be used for?" And he didn't
like,
know. And
I
then
don't know
someone
yet.
finally bought it.
So let's like recap a little bit of
Yeah.
plot. So
Do we?
yeah,
Yeah,
we do.
we should.
So,
We should.
The story starts off with a couple of astronauts, and they are traveling in space and return home, and they are part of like a space program. And adjacent to that, there is a young inventor and his future fiance, and this inventor just comes up with a fucking machine that really just beeps. It's like an obnoxious tone, right?
It's like a klaxon.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
an alarm. Yeah.
Right. And he's like shopping it around and trying to sell it to different companies, and eventually it's purchased by a toy manufacturer, and nobody really knows why a toy company is interested in it, but he doesn't care because he's looking to prove his worth to
As an
his
inventor.
to
his
his
girlfriend's
brother,
brother.
Yeah.
who he's like
His
seeking permission
Glenn.
from to get married.
Yeah,
Not
his
Glenn.
blessing.
Yuji.
Fuji.
Fuji.
Yeah, and it's Fuji and Glenn are the two
Astronauts.
and so that's how they're all tied together. At this same time, the space program discovers a new planet that's been hidden in the shadows of Jupiter called Planet X. So they send a two-man space crew to
Okay.
Planet X, and it happens very quick.
They
Hold
have
on.
to go right back after.
Who is? Answer me this. Who is sending them? What group is this?
Asking the wrong questions.
Doesn't matter.
Who is it?
Asking the wrong questions.
Maybe it was
Is
the
it
national.
the UN? Is it
No,
Japan?
it's the Women's Organization of
Yeah,
the World
what
or
is
whatever.
it?
Do you remember that?
Yeah, they
Well,
gave him like
it's
permission to
It's like the
go.
World Council, but it's like they have like a Japanese flag and a UN flag, and also
An
they
American
An
flag.
talk
American
about the
flag.
Americans and like,
It was the UN.
yeah, sure, the Women's Council.
That part was funny. That
Sorry, I
woman just
didn't-
comes out of nowhere and goes, "The Women's National Council gives you permission for this," and you're like, "What?"
That was it. That was her role.
And then she just steps back,
steps
and
back.
I don't think she has
'cause
a
there's
line
like
the
a-
rest of the movie.
There's like a global summit to determine if they want to send somebody
Yeah.
to Planet X.
Planet X.
So then the Glenn and Fuji go to Planet X. They land and they're like, "Oh, cool, let's go plant this flag." And it's like not a tall flagpole, and they put it like in a valley. That fucking cracked me up for some reason. It's like he's standing right next to a peak, and he puts it like in a valley.
in a ditch.
I like that they had no idea of the atmosphere before they got out. Like they just hop out and are walking around, and then once they're out, they're like, "Oh, the gravity is 2/3 of that on Earth." I'm like, you guys didn't figure that out. They just went out. Like there could have been.
Well, this is
like,
like 2
no
years before they
gravity
faked
or
the moon
anything.
landing. They didn't even know.
Right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
true. You don't know.
So fucking I think it's got to be Fuji who's out there, and he's looking around and he's like, "Hey Glenn, something weird's going on," because there's like a thunderstorm is happening, and then he
yeah.
sees footprints, and then he's like, "Glenn, where's Glenn?" And Glenn's nowhere to be found, and neither is P1, their spaceship. And he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then all of a sudden this cylinder rises out of the crust of Planet X.
Planet X.
And it's like, "Come here. Come into the cylinder. Walk into the cylinder."
It's like an overhead voice.
It's like, "Hello, astronaut Glenn.
in English.
We have your ship and your friend."
And it's like polite and yeah.
yeah. It's just like, "What?" And he's like, "Well, my friend." He's like, "No, they're down here." And then that's where you get the great.
We must insist.
Did you listen to that album? You were asking me about
I
the King
definitely
Ghidorah?
heard some of it because like I listened to a little bit of it and I was like, oh, this is familiar, and then I watched the movie as well, and I caught like snippets of the dialogue.
So this is
and it's
where-
like, yeah.
So we actually ended up watching for whatever reason, and I learned that it's because it was a co-production, which is why Nick Adams is in there. Which is this is the only Criterion Collection version of, or the only Criterion Collection Godzilla film that is actually the dubbed version, because that was the one that ended up being like globally marketed in English because they wanted to introduce Godzilla to the wider audience, which is also why he's the protagonist and like a good guy in this movie, because they thought that he was a marketable creature. Turns out they were fucking right. But so we did watch this with the dub, and we did get that great King Ghidorah sample. It's like, follow the light. The light is your
The
guide.
light is
And
your
so
guide.
he's walking around in this like subterranean spaceship, and all these lights are
There's a
coming.
bunch of dimmer switches.
Dude, it looks like when you're getting the fucking the what to do in case of emergency on a flight, and it's like, look at the lights in the center aisle. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So he follows that, and he stumbles upon like this, I don't know, this group of they're zillions, like
I feel like
ex-aliens, but
I
like,
feel like they say different things. They're called like zillions. They're called zeons.
yeah. And then that's another case of the shitty dubbing.
Yeah.
But basically, we're all roads lead to the controller, which is a great name. The controller of
The
Planet
controller
X,
of Planet X.
who's the one who's doing like the voiceover on like the intercom. Like, I don't know where the voice is coming from.
It seems to just emanate from everywhere, and
It's
also
like just a frequency.
he controls everyone through like nanomachines or something.
And hand gestures in the computer programming.
Yeah, it's like a weird.
He controls them with his brain waves.
It's brain.
I
It's
thought was the
it's
thing.
magnets, right? Isn't it
Yeah.
magnetic waves?
Yeah.
I thought that's what they used to fight against the brain
It's
waves.
how they no. It's how they control the monsters, and so they have to use like the A-cycle waves to block them or something.
Yeah.
Exactly, guys.
Sure.
If you're following along, this is like I said, get
I just
heavily
want to say
medicated.
I was so high watching this movie
That you fell asleep?
that I fell asleep multiple times. That like I got so high in preparation for this movie I forgot to watch this movie. That's how high I
To be
was.
fair, that's how high Michael told us to get.
That is true. I went out, I got a chocolate bar, I ate half of it, and then I smoked like a half a gram joint, and then I did some dabs, and then I ended up reading a bunch of stuff out of a D&D manual, and then Bill texted me, he was like, hey, you want to watch this fucked up movie? I was like, oh fuck, I gotta watch that Godzilla movie. So I watched that Godzilla movie and fell asleep, and then I woke up at like midnight, and then watched more of that Godzilla movie, and I didn't really even watch it because like, what is going on in this film?
What
Well,
we're talking about?
Let me tell you, they talked to the council of like aliens, and it's brought
They're
to
called-
their attention that, well, since you're here, we actually could use Earth's help. What we need is
We need
somebody
Godzilla.
to take care of Monster Zero. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, everything has numbers here. This is
Yeah,
Monster
that
Zero.
was a good one. Everything has numbers here. That was great.
This
There
is
were
Monster Zero.
There were some great quotes in this movie.
and then,
And it's like, you want to see them? And they just throw on like a cam and
yeah, they throw up like the CCTV footage of Monster Zero, who is, we know if you've watched any of the previous movies, the last movie was Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, and this
Yeah.
is King Ghidorah. So
who,
they're-
like Rob said earlier, the design was pretty badass.
It was cool.
Like King Ghidorah or whatever is cool.
Ghidorah.
Three-headed dragon
Yeah.
monster thing.
2 tails, 3 heads, 2 feet, 2 wings, no arms.
CR-22. It's got 400 hit points.
Dude, he's badass though. King Ghidorah
Yeah.
is like
Shoots
one
lightning out of his
the
mouth.
coolest monsters in
He's
like
pretty cool.
Godzilla.
And you learn that they have to live as a species underground because of him.
Because
or
he's
it.
just fucking
Well,
shit up.
but not really.
We'll get there.
Well, yeah.
So
This is what they're told.
in the previous movie, King Ghidorah comes to Earth and starts running amok, and it awakens Godzilla. And Godzilla is not like controlled or summoned by mortals or humans, but he realizes the common threat that Ghidorah poses to planet Earth. So he tries to take out Ghidorah, and that's when the Earthlings team up with Mothra and the people of Fortune Island, and then they bring in Mothra, and then
Wait, Rodan.
Mothra, and then
Oh, last movie.
and
yeah.
Rodan also joins the fray, and it takes all 3 of these monsters to destroy King Ghidorah, or so
Right.
we think. King Ghidorah tends to actually he escapes to Planet X, and when we're hearing this story, the Planet X aliens are like, we need Godzilla and Rodan, so they make an agreement that they're going to work together in exchange for the cure to all illness.
to
Well,
everything.
before that, I love that Glenn like calls it. He's like, "Water's really rare in here. It's pretty dry on this planet." And they're like, "Nope, we have plenty of water. Don't worry about it."
That shit was funny.
And
The science is so loose in this.
I think they say like water's more abundant than gold here, and
it's
they're
worth
like,
more.
It's
Yeah,
worth more, and it's like that's not true. And he's like, he said something. I was like, well, I guess that's for you to find out. It's like what?
and I love how they were like, "Oh, by the way, don't even worry about getting them. Like, we know exactly where they are. We'll just go get them."
Just shoot lasers into a mountainside.
So to them, that seems like a pretty good deal, right? They come, they know where the monsters are already, they take them away themselves, and then they get the cure for all diseases.
Yeah, I mean, if someone was like, "Hey,
Nothing wrong with that.
you got like 2 shitty futons. I'm gonna come over, pick them up, put them in my truck, and I'm also gonna give you free healthcare." And then you're like, "Yeah, give me that."
I would have maybe been like, you got testing, or can you prove this cure somehow? But
No,
Well-
not them. They're a
no.
super advanced alien life form.
Oh, it's recorded on a cassette tape.
Yeah.
What is this?
So
What?
And the
What?
cassette tape just looked like a fossil.
What?
It was
A fossil?
like a square with a crater
I'm
in
gonna
it.
need you,
And it was
Rob.
like-
I'm gonna need you to be louder. Like if you could speak up louder
Louder?
into the microphone, it would help everybody.
This is good, actually, because Kaya said, make sure Rob's mic is turned down this time. And I'm like, I try.
But anyway, yeah. So they go back to Earth, and then shortly after, the fucking Planet X aliens, the Zelians,
Aliens?
are on planet Earth, and there's like spaceships, like typical, like the
UFO.
day the Earth stood still, flying saucers coming out of the
They glow.
the lake, which is actually
Pretty cool.
the lake is based on a real pond in Japan, but they didn't film at the location, and it's like a pond. It's like
pond.
a stocked fishing pond. I can't remember the name of it, but it is like that body of water does exist in Japan, but it's like the size of a Olympic swimming pool. So anyway, they just show up like unannounced after, you know, the global committee of women and Japan NASA have yet to even really approve the deal. And they're like, wait, who's here? And they're like, oh, we came here to extract them because you don't have time to wait. Otherwise, King Ghidorah will bring wrath upon Earth too. And this is when they get the cool extraction. Like they just the bubble extraction.
Yeah.
They pull Godzilla out of the lake and Rodan out of like the mountainside.
And this scene also delivers one of my favorite quotes. I think it's Glenn that says, "Hey, you guys have been on Earth for a long time without our permission." I really enjoyed that.
Meanwhile, we got the woman from the toy company. Her name is Miss Namikawa. Turns out she's falling in love with Glenn, the astronaut.
Yes.
And she's also having private meetings with the inventor. And we don't really know what her deal is, but we're getting the idea that she's in on it for different reasons. So Rodan and Godzilla and Glenn and Fuji are taken back to Planet X. They travel 470 light years in 12 hours.
1/10 the speed of light.
Yes, but
No
in the
problem.
near future, we will get to that.
The speed of
Which
light.
is also, it's like, but you did it in 12 hours.
Yeah.
It takes, none of that
Don't
makes
worry about
sense.
it.
None of it makes sense.
No. But, yeah, so then they get there and they've brought the monster, so then they get the cassette and they are then put into like a replica spaceship that is, as you'll find out, even better than your own.
Oh
And
yeah, they
the-
rebuilt the spaceship that disappeared.
and also the spacesuits and shit. So they
Yep.
send the astronauts back home. The astronauts take the tape that contains the cure to all illness on the world, and they go to play it, and it doesn't. There's no sound. There's nothing. They're wondering if it's like a blank or messed up or something's wrong with the cassette reader. And then all of a sudden, it's like, all Earthlings must surrender Earth and
Okay.
obey the laws of Planet X.
You
are
must
now.
capitulate.
Yeah.
Okay.
They love capitulate. in the
Okay,
English
I knew this was coming because I knew all this was coming just watching this movie, And I still cackled like a fucking witch when this shit came on that cassette tape. I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what
And
it's
everyone's like, what?
I was ready for it too. I was like, this thing is gonna be like a notice that they're gonna invade Earth,
Yeah,
right?
exactly
And then
that.
of course it was.
And they all like show up immediately, like inside people's homes.
Well, they were already there
Yeah, they've been there a long time without permission.
without permission.
And then this is when you find out that Miss Namakawa is actually Zelia.
Sick.
Oh, she's so hot in that fuck. She's
Yeah,
got
that's-
those hard bangs and dark hair
Well,
and that like PVC fucking spacesuit. I'm not even joking. I've learned a lot about myself watching this movie.
When they're still there, right? When they're still like on Planet X, they end up like going into a another room, and there's a bunch of women that look like her.
Yes.
Yes.
And they're like a room that they are not supposed to be in. They like wandered off the beaten
Yeah.
path and found like the
It's like
gold crystal
the women
garden.
room.
It's like a weird Salvador Dali room that has like gold crystals and like trees without any leaves on them, and also steps and like a weird pool
And a lot of water.
and a lot of water and like women
Fuck, I
walking
remember
in
this.
like carrying boxes and things. Like, what is that?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
But yeah. So basically then it's like, oh shit, why do these people who are aliens want
Zelians.
why do they want this klaxon that I've invented? And Glenn's falling in love with this woman, Miss Namakawa, and now Godzilla and Rodan are under the control of the Zelians, and
Through
you find
magnetic
out
waves.
and you find out that the Zelians didn't need them to combat King Ghidorah, that they actually control King Ghidorah, and now they also control Rodan and Godzilla, and they're
They're
going to
gonna team up.
invade the Earth with all three of these kaiju, and they're going to fucking start with Tokyo, of course.
They are, and they give them 1 hour, and then they give them 24 more hours, which I love. Which gives them time to like come up with like a way to around it, involving magnetic waves and also the klaxon that some guy invented for no reason with no purpose.
Yeah, and that's the plot, really. And then you
Yeah.
get the big showdown, right?
Yeah, which
You
is great.
get
Yeah.
Rodan and Godzilla are actually broken free of the magnetic mind control, and they start battling King Ghidorah.
Yep.
You get Happy Dance Godzilla. You get flying.
This fight was great.
You liked it?
Boulders are being
Yes.
thrown.
It was
I
Oh,
so
mean,
Godzilla! If you
fucking
guys don't know this,
funny.
early Godzilla loves to kick boulders. That's like one of
Yeah?
his power moves. He
Okay.
kicks boulders. He's also a big fan of grabbing tails
And
pulling
swinging
them
'em.
while
Yeah.
fucking Rodan
And-
sweeps in.
Dude, fire breath. I love it. Give me that. Give me the fire breath. Give me the lightning breath of King Ghidorah.
Oh,
give me
dude.
that shit.
Give me that footwork, man. My man
Oh,
was
dude, the
like,
Ali shuffle, like that's
fucking
clear. That's like a Muhammad Ali
Pugilist,
signature.
Yeah.
motherfucker.
like in 1965, he just
yeah,
did some.
he was
It's
fucking
Cassius
like
Clay.
moving in
He's
the
a
ring.
fucking ham. He's awesome.
Dude, I really thought you both were gonna come in here spitting mad shade, and we haven't gotten to the ratings yet. I'm sure it doesn't score high, but as far as like, I told you we were gonna have fun this week, and it does sound like both of you guys at least had fun. And this movie was batshit crazy, but we got a lot of fun plot holes and like silly future science and computer shit, which I know you love.
Yeah, all that stuff was fun.
And then a fucking pretty cool puppet master man in a suit showdown stomping on miniatures. Like, how
Which
funny are those miniatures?
The
Oh,
miniatures
they're
are great. I mean, I knew that was going to be one of my favorite parts, and it was. But I will say I did want more just huge monster fighting. Like, I did just want them to fight more.
There was a lot of monster fighting.
I feel like there could have been more.
Yeah.
There could have. There definitely could have. There was.
Because they
there was a
mostly
lot
fight
of
that one
story.
scene, and then they're back
No,
to
no, no,
Earth
no, no.
destroying.
There's like
and
a
then
scene,
they fight more.
Yeah, but there's like one early on, and then there's like most of the last 30 minutes are fight scenes.
I feel like the early on one was like the one with like
Yeah.
the boulder throwing
Yeah,
and
that's true. And
Godzilla
and
like
ridiculous
jumping off a
dance.
boulder, like body slamming and doing that dance. That's based
Yeah.
off of that old manga. That's funny.
But you also get like a lot of, I don't know, like miniature tanks firing and like all
yeah,
that.
all that stuff is fun.
But
And you see some of them floating. Some of
Yeah,
the convoys
yeah.
are like their wheels aren't even on the ground.
If you're ever
I did like all the like fake like magnetic wave tank things moving around and shit.
love
Like I
that
love
shit.
that shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
or like when the radioactive breath is like melting radio towers and like
Yeah.
satellite dishes.
Oh,
and
that
shit.
that like melting like under a heat gun. Yeah,
Yes.
that was
Yeah.
amazing.
If you guys ever just feel like doing something like this again, get super stoned, I would say watch either Mothra versus Godzilla or King Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Those both have considerably more miniature destruction and like kaiju battles, and they're like tighter scripts, even if they're not as like, even if they're not as wildly entertaining. Like they're fucking cool. It's a great like background cleaning the fucking house movie if you just want to see
man.
kaiju monster battles.
This movie makes me want to eat like pizza rolls and
Mushrooms?
and fucking
Sours.
Cracker Jacks and sours. What's the candy that becomes a gum? What is that?
I can't do that. What?
Becomes a gum.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man.
I'm thinking of like
Like the shake it like Band-Aid gum type shit.
No. They're like it's like a
becomes-
hard candy that you like suck on and then chew and it becomes a gum. It doesn't matter. It's not important.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
but
you
I
guys
don't
buy
know
me
the
some
name.
time on
Yeah.
Google it.
Razzles?
I think you meant buy us some time by talking about the movie.
Oh.
While he googles the candy.
All I'm saying is like,
Dude,
if-
they are fucking Razzles, and that's not at all what I was thinking of. I didn't even think that was a candy when you said
totally a
it.
candy.
Razzles are a candy
Wait, what
that
do
once
these look
chewed
like?
mixed it to transform into chewing gum, originally introduced in 1966.
Oh, a year after this movie.
Deep cuts. Get
Oh,
some
those
Razzles.
things are candy gums?
Smoke a joint. Watch this movie. It's fun.
Yeah,
It
I was
is
thinking,
a
this
lot
is
of
what I was
fun.
thinking of, like the Ouch. Remember Ouch gum and shit
No.
like that?
Do you
You
remember
don't?
old,
It just
Bubble
hurt?
Yum with the duck on it?
What? Bubble Yum with a duck?
Yeah.
I don't know if it had a duck, but you never had these
Oh yeah, with the
like,
Band-Aid.
Oh, yeah.
Band-Aids that are flavored
What
like
about
fruit that turn into
what's the one with the
I was
zebra?
more zebra. Yeah, I was supposed to say I was more of a zebra, but
fruit stripes.
Fruit stripes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Flavor lasts for all of 90 seconds.
Do you guys like fucking high chews?
Dude.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, they changed the sour ones and they suck now. I'm pissed. The grapefruit ones used to be good. Now they're fucking garbage.
Damn.
Damn.
If you're listening,
Fuck you, Haichu.
how'd you
Bring back the
Haichu.
OG
go
recipe.
back to the OG?
Yeah, but like Japanese are really good at a lot of things, and I would put their candy is right at the top of the list.
And kaiju movies.
Yeah, so we did
And chicken sandwiches, like a chicken sando. Give me like a Tokyo chicken sando. Katsuo.
we did those baksu boxes for a couple months, which is literally Japanese snacks from Japan every month. It's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
subscription, and that's what it was this pretty much banging ass like Japanese candy and snacks.
Yo, we need to go to H Mart in Denver.
Dude, I'm down.
Stock up.
Whoa, location reveal. We're gonna have fans fucking trying to find us and shit.
We're gonna drive 14 hours to Denver.
There we go.
You like Pocky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Almond brittle.
Pocky pussy?
Yep.
Beep.
Well,
I'm not allowed to talk about that.
we'll
Yeah,
cut
shut up, Rob.
Rob, you don't know what the fuck you. Rob, you're out of your element.
This is Vietnam. There are rules.
What movie was this? It had no candy in it, I don't think.
Godzilla.
What do you mean there's no
Invasion of the
candy in it?
Astro-Monster.
Kumi Mizuno?
She was a snack. I know.
She was a snack. She was.
Nick
she was
Adams?
Party.
Eh.
He was fun.
It
That's
was
funny.
ridiculous that
He was
even
so
be
over the
included in this. Because you could tell, like, he
That
was
had to
just
be
waiting for people to stop making noise so he could deliver his lines. Because, like, his inflections and tonality was not on par with, like, anything that was supposed to be happening. And Japanese is such, like, expressive language
Yeah.
that, like, I feel like he started yelling things that were supposed to be spoken because the lines that were coming to him that he didn't understand were being said at like elevated
that
volumes.
What do you mean?
It was
That
fucking
makes
insane.
a lot of sense, yeah.
It was insane.
He was crazy.
But
he was crazy.
that made for so many good one-liners from him, just because he had no idea what was going on.
It's like literally you could almost feel the director like in the background just hitting him with like a thumbs up, like now's your time, like say something. And he's like, oh, so the aliens on planet X now have control of Godzilla?
And you could do that with animals or plants? You have a very inquisitive mind. We will mark that fact in our computer memory drive.
That shit was so funny, dude. The lines in this movie are gold.
There was a lot of good one-liners.
Yeah. Wow.
This
pick.
is like almost like
Wow.
a so bad it's good, but it's like also
It's bad.
so good it's good, and just also it's bad. Like this movie confuses me.
multifaceted.
It's bad. A lot of the reasons why it's bad is because of the time and everything like that. It's not really bad as in, well, I guess like the writing and the stuff is pretty bad.
I guess like objectively.
No, but like when I think of like The Room, which is one of the most like famous bad movies known for being good, like that movie is really bad because like the acting and the dialogue and everything is so poorly executed that none of it seems feasible in any world. And this is sci-fi, so it can get away with that, but also it's still better than that, and it's a product of its time, which helps.
Which is strange when you have native speakers not fluent in the language of their co-cast mates, like having conversations with each
No,
other.
I mean,
and you're
that's
saying the
really
lines
insane.
are more well delivered than
Like there's no way to
Tommy
do that
Wiseau's.
well. Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
A lot of things in this movie I just ran with like that. Like him speaking English and everyone else is speaking Japanese, even though it's dubbed. I'm like, sure, why not?
That's how you have to watch these movies.
I mean, we're kind of
God-
used to that with some of the shit that we watch.
But also like Godzilla being a good guy, I'm like, okay, this is movie 6, so like I guess he's a good guy now. Whatever, we'll go with it. Just a lot of this stuff.
You
just
have to roll with the
You have
punches.
to roll with it. And this is not a movie I would have sought out and put on myself. So thank you for picking it because I think it was fun.
yeah, I also
Like,
never would have.
do you have-
just watched this?
Is this like carving out a place of fondness in your memory?
I would say that I would now watch another Godzilla movie on my own time.
Really?
I'm not like I'm a fan. I'm like gonna
Or
watch
rushing
them.
or gonna do
But,
all
like,
36,
I
but
would watch the other 5 if they're as good or more fun than this one. Like I would be interested in watching them. I would also again get belligerently high.
I think
before
my
we-
exact recommendation was irresponsibly high.
and
Like,
I
you need to-
accomplished that.
Yeah, so did I.
Well, I'm proud of you both. I knew you had it in you. I mean, I don't know where to go with this.
Yeah, I'm like trying to.
It's
think
something
of
that you have to
stuff
experience.
I thought that was
Yeah.
really funny. I mean, we touched on it, but like the Godzilla victory dance was hysterical and
Like-
went on for so long.
It
I
was
feel
like
like.
They like
watching
doubled down.
Pikachu. It was insane.
Yeah, I feel like I was like, wait, did you see what Godzilla did? And went to the remote and be like, you have to see this. And then like, wait, he's still doing it.
Dude, it's like it's so good. I'm glad you guys had fun with this one. I was a little self-conscious of the pick just because it's like, I don't know, like we touched on last week. It's like, is this horror? I mean, monster movies and kaiju movies have their place in like the horror periphery, and I think that this, for so many reasons, it fit in perfectly to what we do here on 13th and Elm. I don't think it was anything bad, but you know how you get like a little self-conscious about your picks, especially it's like something I hadn't vetted and seen personally.
I don't know that.
You should. If anybody should,
I do.
You fucking should.
I know, Jimmy.
But I'm glad to hear you guys enjoyed it. So let's jump into, unless there's other things you want to talk about, like we can kind of give some ratings, goof around, talk about next week.
No. I think we covered most everything. Yeah, the great miniatures, the kind of just insane plot.
Yeah.
The sampling for MF Doom's King Ghidorah album, which is a banger. You should definitely listen to that too.
It is, yeah. Akira Ikafukubi, I fucked that up. He does the music for the Toho-era Godzilla shit, and like honestly some great shit. Like also the Pharaoh Monch Simon Says sample is another classic Godzilla.
I didn't know that was a Godzilla thing.
Oh yeah, that shit bangs.
That shit's a banger,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that is really good. So that song is more featured in Godzilla versus King Kong and Mothra versus Godzilla. Oh, dude, I love that shit. Bom, 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 bom. Yeah, that's like...
That's what it is? That part is the Godzilla?
Yeah, that's like...
Dun, 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 dun.
That's like evil Godzilla's music.
And Lil Kim uses that same beat?
Yes. So that's all Godzilla shit. Dude, like, this is just a really great nugget of pop culture, and it's fun to revisit. If you've never done it and you're on the fence, this might be a good starting point just because it's so ludicrous that you don't... There's no way you can take it seriously. But also, I like the other ones too. And I'm going to keep plugging through. I'm going to watch all 36, and I'll touch base with you, Elmers, every couple months because it's going to take a while. But I'm going to watch all of these fucking movies. I'll do like Godzilla. This one was fun. I'll just give it an honest rating.
Yeah.
And I want to give it more than it deserves, but in good faith, I can't give it more than like, I'll give it like a 64.
Damn.
Really? Okay.
I mean, it's fucking... I don't know if that's like you're going higher or lower, but like, it's a ridiculous movie, man.
I was going to give it a 75. I mean, you know me, I rate purely on enjoyment. I don't care what state I'm in when I watch it, like what it's fucking about or whatever. Like, if I enjoyed it, I'm going to rate it pretty high. And I really had fucking fun. Like, I would watch this movie again, and, like, I will watch other similar ones. Even though you have alluded to this being the most ridiculous, I still think there's room for a lot of the other ones to be a lot of fucking fun, too.
Some of the 80s ones get fucking insane just
I
based
can
on,
only
like,
imagine.
what... like the technologies are and like the type of monsters they have to start introducing. Like this one's crazy because it's like 60s sci-fi, but like some of the 80s ones are like 80s fever dream fucking techno bullshit, and I mean they're fun too.
No, I'll definitely remember this one for a while, and you know, maybe see if I can get it on VHS.
Really?
Yeah.
You like it that much?
Which you know is like my stamp of approval.
Would you like the miniature model I found at Michael's that I sent you guys?
Yeah, dude, that was fucking crazy.
You
Yeah.
kidding me?
You did find that.
I actually totally forgot about that.
Yeah, like literally, like earlier this week, Elmer's. I was shopping at Michael's for some D&D supplies, and they have a bunch of models like so you can build. And there was one that was Godzilla from the Invasion of the Astro-Monster.
How much why didn't you buy it?
Because it's $30, and I hadn't watched the movie yet.
Where was this at?
At Michael's in
I
Fort
feel like I
Collins.
need to go there and buy
we could
it.
split it and build it together, and then we
Yeah.
could put it in the studio so that when we're doing our live streams,
Yeah, you guys can build together, and you can come on each other's butts.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
You're allowed. We can't talk about that.
Yeah, you can.
you can say whatever you want about us, Rob.
Did you? Oh, you didn't rate it yet.
No, I
100.
give it a 65.
Did you?
Yeah, because like okay, I
wanna
don't
bet
know these kaiju classics. I don't know them. I didn't know anything about it. This has everything you want. It has like crazy battles. It has guys in suits throwing fake boulders. It has like reused shots. It has insane
Crazy dubs.
aliens. It's got like spaceships on wires. It has crazy dubs. It has like a guy is American speaking English while everyone's speaking Japanese. Like it is crazy. It's not quite insane enough to be a fever dream, but it is like nonstop nonsense, and it's a lot of fun. So
Do you like the part where they were upside down in space?
yeah, I did like that.
They did got a 180 here.
all the space stuff, all the science stuff, all the like spotlighting where they're I don't know like in another dimension, and then they like bring the house lights up. They're like back at the whatever round table at Planet X. Like what is going on? What is this?
Yep. This
Yeah.
was a good one.
So watch this movie. I would watch this again. I would recommend this to people I know.
Damn. I didn't expect it to. I rated it the lowest.
You did.
I was just self-conscious of myself, because I enjoyed this shit. I'll fucking watch it again for sure. But I was like, God, they're gonna hate it. I ruined my Godzilla
I mean,
shot.
if I was dead sober, probably be in the
Probably not as
60s,
much,
but
yeah.
Dude, that's why
Fuck,
I swear to
shit
God,
was
I almost
funny.
had a conversation with you guys like, guys, I just watched this. You're going to hate it. We can do City of the Living Dead and just edit our last episode. Like, I don't know what to... But I didn't. Yeah, but
You didn't.
But I
Good.
didn't because I was like, we gotta maintain some sort of integrity. We said we're gonna give the Elmers the kaiju movie. We're gonna give them the kaiju movie.
Yeah.
Because I can't even relate to you guys how many letters and emails I got saying like, oh my God, it's so refreshing
You
to hear
can't count.
like you guys are doing kaiju on 13th Elm. This is my
they never do
wildest
that
dream.
on the
Yeah.
other ones.
Like, fuck Dead Meat James, that piece of shit with the slick back hair.
I don't know who that is, but fuck him.
Yeah, you do. The kill count dude.
Oh yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah. Dead Meat James, if you're listening to this.
Last pot on the left.
You just
Fuck you.
Fuck you. And if you're last part on the left, if you're listening to this, if Bloody Disgusting, if you got a podcast, nobody fucking cares.
Fuck
Nobody
you.
knows. Nobody's listening.
Maybe that's how we get big, by hating on the other ones. Fuck you.
that always works.
I think we're more diverse. I think
Yeah.
we have more like.
Do any of them have
inclusionary
3 men?
Yeah. Probably not. 3, like, at least one of us is handsome. 2 of us are ugly as shit. I don't know who, but I'm just saying, it's like, give ugly dudes a chance.
Well, now the threesome's going to be weird, because we're going to be thinking about that the whole time.
Thinking about which one of us is hot, which one of us is ugly.
Yeah.
Well, that is kind of fucked up.
Everybody's hot with the lights off.
That is, your core temp's hot, I'll tell you that.
Speaking of that, can we turn the light on so I can see?
No.
Fuck. Okay.
All right. Since we're all going to wrap up and bring this podcast to an end, do you know what we're watching next week?
I do know what we're watching next week. It's a movie I've been wanting to watch. One movie you've been wanting to watch.
Whoa.
One I've been wanting to watch since, honestly, the Halloween October extravaganza, but it just hasn't been streaming. It is Near Dark.
Yeah.
Another
We were just talking
vampire
about this.
pick.
I think it's another vampire bitch.
It is. Lance Henriksen, Bill Paxton, 1987.
87.
And yeah, it's a classic.
People
You've
really...
you've never seen this?
Never seen it. No.
And
People
you've
love this
never
movie.
seen this?
I've never seen it. You haven't either, I believe, in our previous conversations.
No, yeah, I know of it. Never seen it. Cool.
It's a farm boy joins a group of vampires. That's basically
Sounds
it.
hot.
So
How have you never seen this?
I know, right? And also, like, Lance. I assume Lance Henriksen plays the farm boy. And like, how old do you think he is in this movie?
He's probably
Not-
legal.
Not farm boy age.
Farm boy. Do you
That
think
they're-
it's like kind of
As
like
you wish.
Yeah, you think he's like gonna fetch a pail of water?
I think that he's the Dread Pirate Roberts.
I think that everybody will be wearing masks in the future. I find them quite comfortable.
Yeah. Bird masks. You know that?
Bird person?
Bird bath?
Bird masks.
Bird bath?
Bird
they
bath.
said,
Bird bath?
So yeah, we're watching Near Dark.
Fuck yeah, I'm excited for that.
Fuck yeah.
This is what 13th Elm is all about. 3 maybe handsome, maybe ugly dudes hanging out with the lights off, taking each other's core temp, watching good movies from the 60s, the 80s, and just trying to get through another day. Handfuls of antidepressants and hard cock. That's all we live off of. And if you can relate to that, go ahead and
Hit subscribe.
yeah, or just come to our studio.
Or come to our podcast.
Bangor, Maine. You
Yep.
can meet us on 14th and Elm,
Dairy.
which is funny because we're 13th and Elm.
No.
Dairy Maine.
Yeah, it's kind of a joke.
Yeah, we came up with that joke, right?
Yep.
That was good. We've really gone off the rails here. Fuck it. We'll do it again next week.
We'll
Same
do it
time,
live.
same bat place.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Thank
Thank
you.
Yeah. Pull up with us, watch 2 films. Come on,
watch two films. If you scared, don't come over here. 13 M. 13 M. 13